Well, Steve, you are very, 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 very popular in this household at the moment. You are, sir, because you saved my stepdad's iMac from the abyss.
Well, I can't take all the credit. It was actually I'll name check our engineer Dave. He did all the work.
Oh, Dave. I know Dave. Right, Dave.
Dave. Yeah.
His real name's not Rodney, is it, by any chance? So it was a blown logic board, apparently.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So these things happen, and luckily Apple was still supplying it for that machine, so we were able to get one in and get it fitted. Yeah, he did seem pleased when he saw it up and running when he came to collect it today.
I'm confused though. Shouldn't it be in a landfill?
Yeah, tell the EU about it. Why don't you?
Oh dear, yeah, strange though. Well, that was the UK government actually. For once, I can't blame the EU, even though I like to blame the EU for everything. But that particular
we did
one,
bury the old logic board, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh dear, yeah, no, he's well chuffed that it's all working again, and he's got his reason not to speak to my mum again working, so that's good.
It's like the modern man's shed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear, he was so lost for it. I had to loan him my MacBook Pro because I felt sorry for him. So he's gone from a 27-inch screen down to a little 13-inch, my old MacBook Pro, and it was like, ooh, it's kind of sad to watch, but there you go. But no, he's chuffed to bits now. It's all working, and what is it? 90-day warranty? Was it? That's it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, standard 90-day warranty on all Apple parts.
So there you go. If your Mac or whatever goes wrong and you're near Watford, I definitely highly recommend going to Steve's place because he saved my bacon a few times, and he's just resurrected my stepdad's one as well.
You'll need to make an appointment, obviously, at the moment. But
yep.
We're not accepting people just popping in. But hopefully that will change in the not too distant future.
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Ah, dear. Dean, you're back this week.
I am, yeah. I've got my office back for a short time.
Why couldn't you be on last week? What was that about, eh?
So, my wife also uses the office for working, and she's been very, very busy, so she's been working in here, and her version of work involves a sewing machine, so it wouldn't sound that good with having that noise in the background.
I've got a noise gate. It's okay. I'm sure that would have been fine. That's right. Oh, well, it's good to have you back, sir.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I did enjoy last week's show with Gaz. I do like the weeks off I take here and there, and just to be a listener for once.
Half the time you're only a listener on the show anyway. We talk. I said last week you hardly say anything sometimes. Are you still there, Dean? Yeah, I have to check. Has to be done. Oh no, it's good to have you back, sir. The crew is here. Even though we did enjoy Gaz dropping in last week. It was great. I did appear. I did a guest spot. I was on the Essential Apple show this week with Simon, Donnie, and Mark as well, and that was good fun.
Yeah, listen to that. It was a good show. Yeah,
it was good. It was weird being. It was weird having Mark host. I got to say.
Yeah.
Oh dear, no, it was good fun.
It was their show number 200, wasn't it? It was quite a milestone.
Yeah, 200 shows. So I have a vague memory of doing 200 shows about 2 years ago or something. I know, a year or so ago. I can't remember, but long time ago. But yeah, it's good. Good to get the longevity going. That's the trick of it, I think.
I do like that show actually. It's Simon just asks, nerdy famous people to join the podcast, and they do. They keep saying yes. So he has some hell of a good guests on it for interviews.
I want to know how Mark has got Simon to do basically his job on his show. because
I want to know how Simon let Mark just jump back into the captain's chair for the 200th episode.
What's that about? I got 3 of you. None of you want to do it. That's not fair. I might have to steal Simon.
Yeah.
Oh dear, no, it's good. If you want to seek out the Essential Apple Show, it'll probably be on your podcatcher of choice, and have a listen. It's good fun. Good fun. I tell you what wasn't good fun for me this week. Bloody Apple One. Apple One. So as it ticked over to the 1st of December, this is the first time we are apparently going to get charged for Apple One. And supposedly it was going to hoover up all the subscriptions that we've been subscribed to for so long, and it was going to pull it all into one package. And I have no idea what went on because I got charged for everything. In fact, I've been charged for Apple One 3 times.
Oh, God.
3 times. Now, 2 of them are only pending on my credit, on my debit card statement, but the other one went through. Then they charged me for Apple TV, but they give me a refund, but not a full refund because the tax was missing. What's that? I mean, it's only pennies, but still.
It's been a pretty bad cock-up from what I've read around the internet. It's happened to a lot of people, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We knew it was complicated because they're trying to, launch a bundle of about 5 or 6 services, many of which have already got free trials running in parallel. Some people are paying for them, some people aren't paying for them. Even the bundle itself had a free month, didn't it? And then all of a sudden, day one for payment turns up, and just about every single permutation of something that could have gone wrong did go wrong.
It's a nightmare. I've had bills, I've had credit notes. Like I say, some are still pending. Thing is, I'm not going to touch them. I'm not going to contact Apple until it's all gone through or come out because I trust, hopefully, they know that they've screwed up on this and it's just a case of putting through the payments, putting through the credit notes and stuff. So as soon as it's actually charged, rather than just a pending charge, hopefully it will then instantly get a credit note because they can't really issue a credit for something they haven't charged you for yet. But fortunately, I'm in a position where none of these, like 3 charges for Apple One at 30 quid a pop almost. Like, in the old days of Mr. Madden, that would have gone into my overdraft. That would have been a fine, I should say. But yeah, oh my God, it's a nightmare. So hopefully they do sort it out. Otherwise, I'm going to be charged 90 quid for Apple One for month 1.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
I think there'll be class action lawsuits now within the next week or 2.
Probably. I mean, thing is, it's got to be a global. It's got to be a massive headache. I mean, and it's not an excuse for it. Don't think I'm doing that. But if you consider all of the customers they've got, and they've introduced, like you say, this new billing system with all these different levels and all these different other subscriptions running alongside, and they've all got to meld together somehow automatically. It's not one person sitting there with a green visor on going, right, okay, he owes that much. He owes that much. It must be a bit of a flipping nightmare.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's what caused
Maybe
it.
It would explain it, actually. But yeah, so I'm hoping I'll give it till next week and see if all the various credit notes come back through and everything works out. Luckily, I checked. I don't normally check. I would just been blissfully unaware, but obviously the stories popped up earlier in the week, and I went and looked and went, 1 times 3, what the hell, Apple? But anyone else having any issues? Please say yes, because I don't want to be the only one.
No, they charged me for the Premiere plan and everything cancelled as it should and carried over as it should. And yeah, as far as I'm aware, everything went through smoothly.
Bloody favours.
That's what you get as a Premiere user.
Should hope so.
Hey, I am a Premiere user. Thing is, I got used 3 times. Either that or you guys have snuck onto my family plan somehow and charging my credit card. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah.
They're not so slapdash when it comes to transferring you across to a different iCloud level and mess with your iCloud files in the same way they mess with your billing. Blimey.
No. Well, nothing, even though the services, nothing was interrupted. It all carried on smoothly as far as I'm aware. From a software side, just from a financial side, it's completely complete. What's that army term?
Snafu.
Yeah, probably is a complete thing. Why can't they do that when I buy a laptop? They always get that payment right. It never goes credit the other way, does it? No. Oh well. Oh well.
Are you making good use of all the services, or how are you getting on with news, for example, and arcade and whatever?
Well, arcade I play a lot now because the games run so well in the M1. It's fantastic. News, not so much. I don't read as many magazines. I mean, it's just that's the one I'm basically considering as the freebie, which I'm never going to use. But we're still paying for the full Premiere kit, but we're not getting the exercises.
No, not yet.
No. Although on Instagram, some of the instructors have been teasing out their various workouts that they're recording for the launch. So the launch has got to be coming pretty darn soon. Everyone's assuming it's got to be in 7.3 because there's some there's some little links on the watch software pointing towards this Fitness Plus feature, because you're going to use your watch with the actual videos, and apparently it's going to put up your pulse and all your details on the screen. So that'll be interesting to see. I got a horrible feeling though. I'm going to try this like twice, and I'm never going to use it again. It's going to be like you buy a cycle machine, and it just ends up as like a clothes horse in the corner, doesn't it?
Yeah. Everyone's got one in the garage, haven't they?
That's it.
Cycle machine, a treadmill type thing, probably a rowing machine, all stacked up against the garage wall. Good intentions.
It's like a classic gym membership, isn't it? It's like, I'll go back next week.
I'm sure if you go in the attic, I've got one of those. What's it called? A ball worker? Do you remember that?
Oh, God.
Oh, crikey.
Oh, yeah. I thought how did I dig that up from my memory?
That was Charles Atlas used to advertise those, didn't he?
That was the weirdest thing. I remember almost breaking my head on that thing, because just in case you're too young to remember, it was this weird metal and plastic thing that extended and had a spring in the middle, and it had like plastic ropes down the side of it, and you'd pull the ropes and it would make it come in, contract, and then it would snap out again if you released it too quick and take your head off.
It was like the 70s version of the resistance bands, wasn't it? But
yes.
we didn't have all the good materials back in them days.
No. No.
I've just Googled ball worker because I've got absolutely no idea what you're trying to describe. And it's just a picture of a football with a hard hat on.
Oh, what was it? Perhaps it wasn't called that then. What was it called? It was
Yellow
called...
hard hat. I don't know.
It was a bull worker, yeah. It was just two metal tubes, one inside the other. So if you could press them together, one would swallow the other one up.
Yeah.
But to stop you doing that, inside was a massive, strong spring. So it offered resistance when you tried to press the two tubes together with your hands using the plastic grips. Or as Karl said, the other option was on the side were these big rubber straps that were taut, and you would pull them out to compress the same tubes together against the spring. So it was all to do with getting a big chest, basically, is what it was all about.
Wow.
I think I've got one in the attic too, actually, Karl.
I was looking for ball, not bull. The B-U-L-L. Yeah, B-U-L-L worker. That's
look, they still sell them. They still sell them on eBay. Amazon, sorry.
You're lucky to get the image you did, Dean. Could have been disastrous.
Safe search.
Safe search, safe repay.
Anyway, so we haven't got that yet. What are they up to, Dean? I'm assuming you're doing the betas. So, whatever.
Yes, I am.
Are we close?
So I'm in the iOS. Was it 13? Not 13. What are we up to? 14.3, I think, on the beta.
Yeah.
I guess the main thing that's different is it's got that Pro Raw option.
I can't wait for that.
In the camera app, which I've not really used, because I don't. Yeah, I just don't know. I haven't really been taking many pictures, to be honest, so I've not used that. That's pretty much it. And there is fitness stuff in there. Mm-hmm. I had a notification on the watch say you've updated to whatever 0.3, and new in this version is fitness, but obviously fitness isn't actually there. It's just a placeholder for something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just sitting back and waiting for this service to drop, because I'm really looking forward to trying the fitness stuff, especially how it links in with Apple TV and links in with your watch and the rings, of course. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it when it comes out. Yeah,
it's actually the Pro Raw stuff. I've been watching a few videos about that, and that looks really good. Some of the shots that photographers have taken with it looks quite impressive indeed, and then they bring it into Photoshop or what's the other one? Not Bridge. What's it called? I've forgotten. Lightroom or things like that.
Lightroom.
Yeah, and they mess around with the exposures and stuff, and they can pull lots of details, but they don't get introduced to noise. So, I mean, the only downside is it goes from about a 2.5 meg image to like 24, 25 meg each time. So you need a lot of storage if you're going to keep them. But I'm sure there's ways to obviously reduce them down after you've pulled the images that you want out.
Yeah. If you'll be able to choose when you're taking the photo whether to take it in Pro Raw or not on a one-time basis,
Yeah, it's just as easy as turning your flash on and off in the top left-hand corner. I think the RAW button's on the top right-hand corner, so it's just another button up the top. So yeah, it's pretty simple to turn it on and off.
So my goal is this weekend, now that the lockdown, the proper lockdown in England has ended, and we've all now gone to the flipping tier systems, but at least that allows us out. I'm going to go down to London in the evening and try out the new camera with, the lights in around London and Leicester Square and stuff. And apparently it's going to rain as well. Well, it's a flipping surprise. So hopefully I can get some nice reflections and stuff like this. Hopefully all goes well, touch wood, I'll be able to give the camera a nice little check out, especially with the video aspects of it, and use Filmic Pro and stuff like this, and then come back and edit it on my new M1 Mac in 4K, I hope.
It'd be good to see some night mode time lapse as well.
Well, I'm not sure about that because I don't like standing around in like Piccadilly for too long to get mugged. Or accosted.
Just paint yourself gold and stand very still.
Oh, yeah.
You might get a few quid at the same time.
Should do that. But no.
Don't bother taking any pictures of those human statues that are like most tourists do. You think, what's the point? Everybody looks still on a photo.
I don't know how they get away with like standing there without drunks coming out and going, hey, and they push them. Well, they do sometimes, unfortunately, but there you go. But no, I've been watching lots of videos about the various settings and stuff that you can use and various tools and stuff and techniques and stuff you can use, and I'm looking forward to it. However, in my search for finding these various little aspects and in tutorials and stuff, I have come across some pointless, what I consider to be pointless YouTube videos. Now, when the M1 came out, everyone was doing the same things. There was loads of Geekbench tests and stuff like this. Then we moved on. I think I might mention this last week, or definitely I mentioned it on the Essential Apple show. But we moved on to look how fast it can edit films in Final Cut Pro and stuff like this, and do all these other things. But now, now we're getting to the kind of videos where they say, well, can the Mac Mini compete with my £9,000 Mac Pro? Editor's reaction. Well, what the point? What? Oh. And
I quite like that video.
Did you? No, I'm not saying the quality of the video is not good, because it is. It looks spectacular. It's a fantastic, entertaining video. But I'm just saying, well, what was the result of that other than clicks?
Yeah,
that's all.
No, it does bug me. I know since I hate name dropping, but when Rene Ritchie, when Indie got himself out of IMO to go indie, he started up a YouTube channel, and he was posting all of his videos pretty much have a really goofy face, which is my biggest bugbear, and one of the reasons I don't subscribe to certain channels is the thumbnail picture with a really just goofy reaction face, and obviously a clickbait headline to go along with it. And a lot of people pulled him up on it, and he said the fact of the matter is he tried doing videos with it and without it, and people click on it more. That's a simple thing. He said he doesn't like doing it, but he has to do it, otherwise he doesn't get the views, and he's there for the views. He's not there to make me happy. looking at his thing. But another person did recommend in the comments, I forget the extension name, but it's a Chrome extension that removes the clickbait images, removes the thumbnail images, and just picks a random image from the actual video itself. So if you don't like the silly thumbnails that YouTube has put on, that's an option to see.
Well, it's not really the thumbnails. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Some of them I do look at them and go, what the hell, dude? I mean, not from Rene, but from other people. But it's just the fact that if someone's got a £9,000 Mac Pro and he's comparing it to a £700 Mac Mini, and it's just that, well, it can't do this. Well, it's not quite. Well, what? What are you talking about? Most people. Who are you shooting this for? I mean, it's an interesting. And the problem is, it wasn't just one, it was loads of different people. And then you had the other ones that say, well, here's the MacBook Pro 13. 1 week out, 2 weeks out. Stop doing that. We don't care after a certain amount of time. My God. And then you get the other ones as well. Why Apple 13, MacBook Pro, M1 is amazing. Don't buy it. I mean, of course. So they're the ones that basically say, yes, this is fantastic, but guess what's coming next? It'll be even better. Well, that should be the way with everything. If you have that point of view, you're never going to buy anything. Ever. Because there's always something better coming out. Or the other ones that say, I'm returning my MacBook Air M1 2020. Don't be fooled. I mean, they are very...
I can only assume that person only bought it just to do that video.
Precisely.
There's so many like professionals now, isn't there? Semi-professional people on YouTube, and they do try to make their living from it. So they resort to all of these sorts of tactics now just to get the clicks, as you say, and it doesn't really help the quality, that's for sure. I do watch a lot of YouTube these days, much more than I did, but I do find I tend to watch like the amateurs, really, people that do like one-offs or every now and then they post. And actually, my most common type of viewing is DIY videos, because I'm absolutely hopeless at DIY. So every tiny job in the house, I have to watch about 20 videos just to get my confidence up.
Oh dear. Well, normally this time of year is normally not that bad for me, because I only have to put up with one kind of video that really drives me mad, and that is whenever the new iPhones come out, you then get this absolute rash of videos that come out. The newest iPhone. Well, let's compare it to this, I don't know, £7,000 red camera. Is it as good? No! Never going to be. What's the point? Or like when they take it out of their DSLRs or their mirrorless cameras, can you tell the difference? And I mean, they're interesting from a certain aspect point of view, but really, I mean, I don't understand what they're trying to prove, because they're either gonna show the camera to not be as good as his other camera that is worth thousands of pounds, or they're going to make themselves look, well, I've just wasted all my money on his other thing. I mean, they're built for different things. It's just a weird way, and it's because I want to get back into YouTube, mainly doing shows rather than actual videos. It's just something I've been noticing recently, and I thought, my God, if I ever did want to produce YouTube videos, is this the kind of pap I've got to put out to compete? That's just annoying. But they always
there's another category you'd be good at, which is a category I like a lot on YouTube, which is tutorial type videos or screencast type videos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're really good, aren't they? People that know software inside out and are prepared to sort of show you all the nooks and crannies for free, basically, on YouTube. That's a really good genre of video. I watch a lot of that. You could do that.
I could do that. I could take whatever. I just listen to my Mac every week, take Gaz's tip, and turn that into a video.
Yeah.
I
bet there'd be interest in your podcasting rig and process and all that sort of stuff. You could probably squeeze 2 or 3 videos out of that for starters.
Okay. Maybe we'll go look at things like that. I could. That's definitely easy to do with the amount of screencasting software out there now. But like I say, it's something I want to get into it, but it does take a lot of time. It takes a lot more time to do a YouTube video even a bad one, than it does to say do a podcast. It's insane, but it is interesting to do, and it's just something that's frustrates me and appeals to me, because all these videos that I've just mentioned, basically, if you search out for the name, you'll find that video. That even though they infuriate me, they all look amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they basically, I now look a lot of stuff I watch on YouTube from, we'll say, amateurs or pro amateurs and stuff, but it looks sometimes far better than what I just get on normal, we'll say, terrestrial telly. It's amazing what people do. I mean, this is what I found really interesting is during the lockdown when you had people like all these late night comedians in the States, and they all went and had to do their shows in their back rooms. They look terrible compared to what is on YouTube. Now, how can those multi-million-pound productions not even compete with someone in their spare bedroom with a camera, DSLR camera turned into a webcam, and a green screen? It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, there was definitely an evolution with that as well, wasn't there? You know, they were on their 720p webcams to begin with, and with awful sound. But as the pandemic wore on, you know, you could see they had circular lights and all sorts of sound baffling and all that sort of stuff going on. And their video did get better.
Yeah.
But they were sent more kit by the production company.
Oh, it's back in stock. Quick, buy it. Oh, dear. Anyway, it was kind of funny. Yeah, so there you go. Anyone taking advantage of Black Friday or Cyber Monday? Did anyone I bought one thing basically, and that's a subscription. I locked myself into a cheap subscription for something. But did anyone else snag anything?
Yeah, eventually I did. I was there was nothing much on offer this year, was there? I didn't think. I looked on
You got me joking. I was
Friday itself.
bombarded with nothing but bloody deals.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not really genuine offers anymore, are they? They're
No,
all
I
sort of
suppose.
fabricated, pretend sales, really. But I did in the end, and it links with what you were just saying, because one of the things I search for on YouTube a lot is tutorials about all the Affinity apps. I watch, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different YouTube makers who specialize in Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and Affinity Publisher. And one of the channels I've subscribed to is called Affinity Revolution. There used to be this chap called Ezra Anderson. He's got a very sort of a calm American voice, but he developed some sort of throat trouble or something, and he had to back out. But his wife stepped in. She's called Ali Anderson, and she's got this really amazing voice that the first time you hear it, I guarantee you'll be irritated by it or kind of amazed by it. Really, it's a strange voice, but after 1 or 2 videos, you just get hooked on it. It's a bit like what's that stuff called where you listen to crackly crisp packets and whispering and all that?
AMG or something?
ASMR.
ASMR. It's a bit like that, really. I've become addicted to this Ali Anderson's voice, and I've watched so much free stuff that they put out on YouTube. But then they posted to say, right, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all our official training courses, which they sell commercially, are all half price. So I thought, I'll see if I'll try one. I'd like to support them because I've watched so much free stuff from them, and I picked one called Affinity Publisher for Beginners, because Affinity Publisher is the Affinity app I've got the least experience with, but I'm pretty prolific with it, or proficient at it, I would say. I thought a beginner's video, yeah, I don't know. But it was only £11. That was the beauty of it. Over the Black Friday weekend, I could get it for £11. So why not? So I bought it. And it's amazing. It is for beginners. But even so, I'm about a third of the way through it. And I've learnt so many things I just hadn't noticed in the programme. But, teaching myself. It's so well done. Really good quality videos, good quality screencasting, nice voice, nice presentation, and a load of free files come with it as well. Free images to work on, free documents to work on to go with the exercises. It was really, really polished product they put together. Well, there's loads of them on there. There's maybe, I don't know, 12 or so proper commercial courses they sell. But I was really happy with it. It's probably the best £11 I've spent in many a month.
It is. I do like those things because I thing is I get a bit weird because I use Photoshop for a while and I learn how to do things. Then I'll switch to Affinity and I'll learn how to do things, and then I'll forget how to do it in Photoshop when I go back to it. So I'm constantly in this weird state of psychosis where I'm switching back between the two of them. Schizophrenic, I mean. But they are good, and like you say, they are. There's plenty of tutorial videos like that on YouTube as well. I mean, I was just looking at some today, learning how to do various video editing stuff as well. It's amazing. Like I say, YouTube is amazing. It's a shame we stick so many flipping adverts on. But I mean, I've looked at that thing that Dean suggests where you sign up via India, but it's a bit of a I can't be bothered. So I just like keep pressing skip until the bloody advert ends. But yeah. That's
the worst one is when they insert ads just at a random place, isn't it? In the middle of the video, right in the middle of a word. You think they'd have some sort of intelligent software could stop it being so irritating?
No.
Yeah, they can detect a bit of copyrighted music from 50 paces, but they can't insert an advert in between somebody talking.
Yes.
So you got any plans for Affinity Publisher then? Any? Because you whenever we've talked about these kind of things, Alan, you've got an ulterior motive in mind.
No, nothing firm. No, I'm just for my own
edification.
I'm looking for my own kind of what's the right word? Yeah, edification. Really, I just interested in software in general. I like to sort of be able to take control of it. But I'm just knocking up a little book of short story writing, things like that, just to see what it would look like if I put one together. Not to do anything with it at all, but just to learn the software and produce a nice PDF that I'd be happy with.
You say that. I still think you should produce something. I mean, because you wrote a story a little while ago that you shared amongst us lot, and it was fantastic. That is worthy of like sharing with the world. I think you wrote it for a course or something, didn't you? But it was
it was homework. Yeah.
AI cars and stuff. So
Yeah.
you should put a series of short stories together and publish it. I mean, it's
Actually, these days you can do it with zero outlay, can't you? With Amazon, the Amazon, what do they call it, the Kindle publishing platform or something? Can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, you do basically the whole lot for free now. Just offer it for sale or give it away free on Amazon. It's incredible.
So come on, listeners! If you think Alan should do this project, get in touch with him because him and Steve do control our Twitter feed. So if you're on Twitter, say, "Come on, Alan, pull it together, put something out," because Alan writes some fantastic stories. I've got to say, so fantastic. I mean, because as being in my youth, I did creative writing. I'm not jealous at all at Alan's talent. So. You need to do it, sir. You need to do it.
I'll do that, Carl. If you dig out some of your old VHS horror movies that you and your mates did.
I can't. They're on VHS. They're gone. They're into a landfill now. Thank God. I never kept them. Bloody things are horrible. Oh well. But yeah.
But anyway, even if you don't buy their courses, I do recommend looking at Affinity Revolution on YouTube. It's a good channel.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Steve, you sent a message in this document, which maybe a bit sad, really, because obviously I use Rogue Amoeba to use this show, but I'm not breaking out my M1 to run the show. I'm running it on the iMac still because I need the expansive screens to fit all the information on it. I need to drive the show, but I'm just, I heard Rogue Amoeba had updated their various apps to run on the M1 Max, so I just assumed, oh, okay, just install it and run the beta and blah, blah, blah. I didn't realise it seemed to be such a hassle to get some of these things to run on the M1 Max. So what's this process that you've told me I have to now do if I wish?
Yeah, so basically for anybody who doesn't know, Rogue Amoeba make audio processing software. So it's used by a lot of podcasters, a lot of people who work with audio. And it basically captures any audio from any device that's going into your Mac and allows you to output it anywhere you like, more or less. That's a really simplified explanation of what it does. But it uses this audio capture engine. They call it ACE. And that requires you to install a system extension. Always has done. But with the new M1 processors, Apple have really screwed down the security. So you have to go through a bit of a process and a couple of reboots to get this system extension installed. So as part of the installation of any Rogue Amoeba product now on an M1 Mac, you'll be prompted to allow the system extension, which is in security and privacy and system preferences. That's quite normal. We kind of got used to that in Catalina, clicking allow this or allow that when things want to record your screen or anything like that. But you have to go a step further with the M1s, and it won't allow you to enable the extension until you've rebooted, gone into the new system options menu by holding down the power button when you're rebooting, and you have to lower the security to reduce security and then tick a box to allow extensions again. So it's quite a process. And to be fair, Rogue Amoeba have put up a good article on their webpage on exactly how you do it, completely step by step. And it's quite a long webpage actually, but very detailed. But basically, it means you have to reboot your Mac at least twice, but I think possibly 3 times, because I think once you've installed it, you want to put the security back up.
Oh, right.
What I haven't quite got to yet is whether doing that disables the extension again, or whether you have to leave it at. It does. Oh, right. So you have to leave it at that lowered level in order to use the extension.
Exactly, yeah, because being kernel extensions, they run what's called outside of user space, which is outside of stuff where you run software. They run a much lower level on the system, and they have much wider access. And Apple is actually trying to get rid of kernel extensions completely, but they can't, because some software like Rogue Amoeba still uses it for low level audio. hijacking. I guess that's pretty much what their product does, audio hijack. And like VPNs run at very low level to do networking. I think this year or maybe last year, Apple are releasing APIs within user space, which is not the kernel space, to replace this functionality. So they've already done that for VPN. So a lot of VPNs are moving over to this new way of doing it, which doesn't require this whole rebooting stuff. So yeah, the reason this is a pain to do and it reduces your security is because Apple don't really want you to be doing it, and in future you won't be doing it because this functionality goes away. But they're working with developers, or at least they trying to work with them as much as possible to bring this functionality native to the Mac rather than as a kernel extension. And the reason why, I guess, is security, because the kernel runs at such a low level that dodgy stuff can get installed there that can do stuff that's harmful and bad, but also it can just like really crash the system, make it go blue screen. Like typically when a Mac crashes, it's, for me anyway, it used to be some sort of dodgy audio driver from, I don't know, line 6, which is my guitar amp that used to install these kernel extensions, or just something like that. It just failed over and it will just crash the whole Mac. And that's just because it has access to stuff way beyond what it should do.
Yeah, I think it's another step along the sort of hardening of the system volume that we first saw in Catalina, where the system volume's actually a separate volume that you don't see on the desktop. Apple cleverly hide it away and make the hard drive look like a single contiguous volume, but it's actually 2 volumes. Under Big Sur, as I understand it, the system volume's even further locked down. And they're not allowing anybody to put any system extensions or kernel extensions in except via this process.
Yeah, and in future, this process just won't exist and it will not be an option. And the software that currently uses it will have to adapt to whatever Apple suggests is the new way of doing it.
I mean, we've kind of seen this sort of thing before with when the Mac App Store came out, and a lot of software didn't go on the Mac App Store because Apple didn't allow any apps into the App Store that needed kind of lower level system access. Even things like BB Edit that installs command line stuff. Don't think that was in the App Store for quite a long time.
That's right.
No, there's still apps that still are missing from the App Store due to this, and it's a shame. But yeah, Apple's really heavy on security, and not just security, but also safety. Just having these apps not being able to crash your system.
Yeah, I mean, you can see exactly why they're doing it. They're trying to avoid A, malware, and B, jailbreakers to crash and get into the system stuff and start running their nasty programs all over the place. But it does come at a cost to the user. It's a really bad user experience to have to do this.
It is, yeah, and it's something. It's an overarching theme that's been going on for, I don't know, for about 5-6 years now, which is Mac OS is becoming increasingly, step by step, more locked down than what it used to be when it comes to what you can run, how you can run it, and this is just another big step towards that. I mean, Gatekeeper was the first thing where it's like, oh yeah, you can just untick a box in system preferences and you can run whatever you want, but by default you can only run what's on the App Store. And now it's just changed to, oh yeah, you got to restart 2 times and go into safety mode and hold down this button and that button when you boot up and click this box and click I don't want safety and turn this off. Yeah, it's gradually just getting more and more locked down, and once this goes away, I don't know, it would be a shame because there's a lot of software that will probably get lost in that process, but Apple doesn't care. They've made so many steps over the past few years where they'll just cut off old software, be it drop 32-bit support, not updating OpenGL, so a lot of new games can't run on the system. Just dropping the 32-bit apps completely without, with like a year's warning essentially, that these apps are not going to run anymore. Just stuff like that. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's I don't know. There's benefits to it as well, which is progress, which is something on Windows that you don't get as much, even though you've got all this legacy software support on Windows. I don't know. Apple doesn't mind dropping that in, to pave this new way forward. Just change architectures overnight, essentially, which is just something you can't do on other platforms as easily.
I don't mind them doing
I think
it. As long as there's a way, if you want to go on the wild side, because it's at the end of the day, it's your computer. You've spent all the money on it. For them to turn around and say, "Yeah, well, to make life easier for us, we're going to do this," but like I say, in the old, like the previous versions, there's a tick box that you have to uncheck, or you put your password in and unlock it. And I mean, I don't. As long as these other companies can find ways using that new process that you described, I'm okay with that. But this is one of the reasons I think a lot of Windows users have a go at Mac about, or Apple about, is the fact that they're absolutely obsessed with locking everything down. And yeah, anyway, in a few years, when we're up to Mac OS, I don't know, 13, it'll just be a static picture we can look at, but it looks nice.
I think the only saving grace with this is that the machines restart so quickly that a reboot is really not the big inconvenience that it used to be.
Yeah, but it's anyway. I'm not buying a big M1 machine anytime soon because one, they're not available yet. But hopefully it will be sorted out by the time I do maybe get an iMac with an M1 in it. That'll be fantastic. But
I think it'd be a good exercise for you to do this, Karl, and try and record a show on it one week.
What, on my M1?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Kill two birds with one stone and make a video of how the M1 compares to the iMac.
It's a 13-inch screen. How can I get? I've got 4 screens in front of me and a full-size screen off to the side, which is like, hidden with the actual sound stuff on it. Oh, it's a nightmare. But yeah,
podcast editor's reaction.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Can it keep up with my anyway? But yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Well, by the way, you can now, if you're on the iPhone upgrade program, you can now take advantage of it again because the stores are open in England anyway. So you can now go back into an Apple store and redo your iPhone upgrade program. Because for some reason in the UK, they need to look at your phone and obviously do all the various checks on it. So you can upgrade your phone and get that whole system going again. So all the people who are on the upgrade program, who are promised these brand new phones every year, have had to wait while all the rest of us went and got our new phones and went, nah. So that's good news for some, I guess. As if they're willing to go into a store at the moment, if they're not so, scared of catching anything. It's good to know.
Like so many other things during the pandemic, Apple kind of possibly seen that this would have happened with the upgrade program. That people who are paying this premium to have their program wouldn't actually be able to take advantage of it because all their stores would be closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's weird, but they're open again now, so you can go. Does that mean then if I was to go and buy another MacBook, which I'm not going to do, I wouldn't have to go through that darn express service again? That was horrible.
Probably not anymore. Yeah.
Well, I heard this news today about the, you being able to upgrade your phones now because the stores are open, and I got to wondering how many stores are there in the UK? I looked it up, and so I know the number now. But for the listeners, think of a number. How many UK Apple stores do you think there are? And then, gents on this call, how many do you think there are?
I know, because I'm looking at the story.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
It's the first line.
If I had to guess, I'd say around 30.
Well,
if you count the whole of the UK, there's 38. But I didn't think there was that many.
Yeah, 32.
Yeah, there's quite a few regionally. I know there's I think 2 or 3 up in Newcastle and near me. And yeah, that sounds about right to me. It seems like most of the big cities have like 1 or 2 in them.
Yeah.
As we're coming towards the end of the year, Apple are starting to do their apps, their winners of the year. And there's a load of the Apple Presents App Store Best of 2020 winners as well. So what was the thing is, I haven't heard of most of these bloody things. So you've got the best iPhone App of the Year, Wake Out, developer by Andres Ganella. It looks like a little mini exercise application. From the screenshot.
Yeah, I think the idea is that you have a workout when you wake up. So it's a wake out.
Hey, to wake up is a workout for me, I tell you, right? So that's enough. To get out of my ass out of bed is a challenge most of the time. iPad App of the Year, Zoom.
That's so disappointing, isn't it?
That is That is kind of pathetic, in a way. Oh,
It's a rubbish app, but a great service.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. The Mac App of the Year, Fantastical. Well, it's a good app.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
I'd give it that. I use that daily. That's
That's
a
it.
brilliant app. I was quite happy to see it on there.
An Apple TV App of the Year, Disney Plus.
That must have stuck in the craw a little bit.
I'm sure they've only given
all these apps are all direct competitors of Apple services, aren't they?
That's right.
So you got Wake Out is the fitness thing, which is Apple Fitness Plus. You've got Zoom versus Apple FaceTime. You've got obviously Calendar built in. You've got Disney Plus is an arch rival of Apple TV Plus. So just have to go through and pick all their main rivals and give them a trophy, don't they?
Well,
Strange.
You're not wrong there, because the Apple Watch App of the Year is Endel, which looks to be like a much more complex version of Breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't know, because I've never even heard of. I haven't heard of any of these things apart from Zoom and Fantastical.
I'm looking at the graphic and I'm thinking, what the hell does that app do?
I thought that was a picture of something I shouldn't have, have to ask about. But
Anatomical,
yeah, that's weird. And you got various games as well. Genshin Impact, never heard of it. Legends of Runeterra, never heard of it. And I'm thinking, where have I been all this time? Disco Elysium, never heard of it. Apple TV Game of the Year, Dandara, Trials of Fear. Nope, these mean nothing to me.
No.
Finally, one I recognise.
Can't see any Epic games in this list either.
That's strange. An Apple Arcade Game of the Year, one I finally actually do recognise, is Sneaky Sasquatch, which is a
my
weird
kids
game.
like that one.
Yeah. So that was it. And they're obviously starting to do their replays of the music as well. So again, you get all the music you've listened to through 2020. Because you want to remember this. But it's interesting because you go back to about 5 years. I think it goes back to about 2015. And I was looking back at what I'd listened to over the years and stuff, and brings back some memories, doesn't it? Where you think, oh wow, yes, I remember when I listened to that song ad nauseum. That was fantastic.
They can still learn a thing or two from Spotify about advertising this feature, though, couldn't they? And making it more accessible to social media and stuff like that. Because on Twitter at the moment, it's dominated by the Spotify equivalent.
Yeah, Apple Music was trending on Twitter because of people complaining that they didn't have these features and insights that Spotify users had and were sharing. Spotify does an amazing job with all the data they collect from what you listen to, and I've seen a few talks from Spotify data engineers talk about this, and it's amazing. Just what they come up with in this space.
Right, so Dean, now to do your thing that you want to talk about, we've got to go into a different section. So, and it's kind of touching. We touched on this a little bit last week, but it's our favourite analyst.
Ming Chi Kuo, Ruma. Ming Chi Kuo, Ruma.
So, Dean, you're getting pretty excited about supposedly some of his fantastic rumours.
I only put a link in just because I wanted to hear that soundbite again. Yeah, so Ming Chi Kuo's come out of the woodworks again to talk about mini LED panels on new MacBook Pros, and I think a new MacBook Air in 2022, and new MacBook Pros in 2021, and I think that's what I'm waiting for. I think that's kind of solidified my choice of not to jump on the M1 straight away and to wait it out until this new screen technology comes along, because it's pretty much inevitable with Apple's got OLED on the watch and OLED on the phone, and this mini LED technology just makes a much better screen. And I'm thinking with how much cheaper it is to make the silicon, they got a lot more budget in there, in what the product costs to spend it elsewhere. Because I don't think they'll make it that much cheaper, the products. They're just going to allocate that money into other places, like, improve the screen with mini LED. And I don't really know much about mini LED apart from it's got like a lot of brightness zones. It's more comparable to OLED, but it still uses.
It's got less
LED
power.
technology.
Uses less power and less risk
uses
of burning.
less power. Hasn't got as much burning problems as OLED can have.
Mm-hmm.
You need to sell your OLED shares then and get into mini LED.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm liking the sound of this, because it's always exciting when Apple change or do a hardware refresh. And the last time they did that, it was the addition of the OLED Touch Bar on the MacBook Pros, which I've got no love for, to be honest. Luckily, I don't get to use it because I've got the external keyboard and I've got my Mac docked most of the time. But which is insane now. Why do I need a better screen on the MacBook if it's docked most of the time? Yeah.
Well, maybe Apple will finally do this affordable display technology for normal Mac users. Not the XDR, but a mini LED version of it.
Yeah, I would love a screen that is affordable for your average user, not like a luxury screen that gets compared to £20,000 reference monitors in movie studios. I just want like a nice looking screen that pretty much works as an iMac, but essentially without the iMac parts inside of it. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be part of a bigger hardware refresh, he says. So I'm looking forward to seeing what a new MacBook Pro that's been redesigned with the M1 in mind, or the ARM chips in mind, or Apple Silicon chips in mind, can be.
It feels like people have been talking about this mini LED technology for over a year. I remember us discussing it on one of the programs, and thinking it might come to the next watch that was coming out, and as a first mini LED device.
That was a rumor.
That never happened. But it's pretty reliable when Mr. Quo gets involved. That the supply chain is ramping up for this sort of thing. So fingers crossed.
Another thing he mentioned is he's mentioned it quite a lot, but he's re-mentioned it again. Is it's going to be in the next iPad Pro, which makes sense because that's the main thing that holds back the iPad Pro for me is the screen. Like, why has my iPhone got a better screen than the Pro? Why have I got more contrast on my phone, or why have I on the Pro? Where the Pro is such a great machine to watch movies on, but they look better on the iPhone, even though it's a much more tiny screen. So that I'd like to see what either an OLED or, as this suggests, a mini LED iPad Pro will look like.
Yeah, he's obviously taking into account the popularity of these new M1 chips because his estimates have gone. He expected, he was saying that in 2021 he thought Apple would ship between 2 and 3 million units of mini LED displays, and he's now revised that to between 10 million and 12 million units in 2021. And in 2022, when he thought they'd ship about 4 to 5 million units, he's now increased that to 25 to 28 million units.
Wow.
So I guess that is the case. The fact is, everybody who's jumped on board with these new M1 Macs and stuff, they all see them, they all see what they can do, but because it's the low-end stuff, there's probably... there's people out there who rushed out and bought the things. But then if they come back again next year, which it looks like, according to this rumor, they will, and they come up with a new revised look for, various MacBooks and stuff like this, and then they put a more powerful chip in there. Yeah, I mean, I can see that just exploding. It's
the gap between Macs and any other PC is just going to widen, isn't it? So that's sales are just going to come, sprinting Apple's way. They're going to make a fortune on these Macs compared to. It's always been a bit of a moderate seller, hasn't it? The Mac, really, not the main, financial engine of the company, but it's going to start kicking off again.
That's it. And
was that one of the pieces of news this week that the Apple M1 machines had taken over the market share in, was it Japan?
Japan, I think it was. It became the best-selling desktop for
went up from like 14% to nearly 30% or something like that of the market.
Oh dear. I bet someone sat up and took notice of that somewhere.
Definitely.
No, but Dean, do you reckon these mini LED screens on Apple laptops will have the rounded corners, like I said last week? Because I think that's going to be Apple's new look going forward, an organic rounded rectangle screen.
I think so. Because that's, if you look at, I don't know, just look at I can see it happening when you look at like the way the edges of windows in Big Sur are kind of rounded. I think that's kind of like a hint of how it's going to be.
Yeah, and the
It's
iPad
around-
Pros are that way now as well, aren't they?
The iPad Pro is even more so. So yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm curious whether Face ID will make it on there. I'm assuming with everything that's gone on this year and the need for people to do remote conferences and remote video calls, I'm hoping they'll manage to put a bigger camera in, or they'll get a much higher priority in the design choices that's made. I don't know if it's too early or late to take that into account, but yeah, it's quite interesting. At work, we had a little roundup today of the year, and they posted the stats of 2019 versus 2020 of our video call use. And we're a company that's like 60% remote based anyway, so we have quite a high video conferencing rate. And it was just more than double this year of video conferences between all the employees as it was last year, even though most of us are remote anyway. It's crazy. So yeah, good video on laptops and portable devices is just so important these days with that.
Another rumour that popped up earlier this week as well is it looks like Apple is advancing their plans to significantly enhance the iPhone's optical zoom by adopting periscope lenses. So this is something they presented apparently in a patent back in 2014, and in fact other phones already have it in, like the Samsung has it in, the S20 I think has it in there already, and it's basically it's a prism that sort of goes in the camera. What do I call it? A bit of kit.
Aperture.
Module. Sorry. So it goes in there, and then it allows the lens to be like to focus further because it's reflecting off the prism, which is getting further away from the sensor, which means it can zoom in. I think is basically it. There's, like I say, if you want to see it in action currently today, if you look up any YouTube videos about the Samsung S20, I think they've got up to 100 times digital zoom, but it goes up to about 30. It gets really high. Just doing zooms, it's ridiculous. I mean, I think times 30 is still digital zoom, but they're using the periscope feature to get it looking really good. Obviously, if you go up to 100 times, it looks terrible, but it's amazing how it works, and it'll be one way to bring optical zoom to phones, and because the limitation is the lens is right on top of the sensor, so there's no real gap there. But once you put a prism into the whole shenanigans, you can get further away from the sensor and then increase the volume, the zoom factor.
It's another thinness issue, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So if you send a light around a 90-degree corner, you can put the sensor inside and basically send the light down a pipe inside the phone.
That's it. Yeah. And it's not. It doesn't even go that far. If you look at the pieces they pulled out the Samsung S20, it's quite. I'm thinking it's travelling the entire distance of the phone. It's not. It's just like not very much at all. It's great. So that'll be interesting if iPhone adopts that on their next update. But we shall see.
Samsung's talking about redesigns while we're on the subject. I heard another rumor today about a redesigned Apple Watch, and somebody was. Suggesting that they might be losing the rounded edges and making it square edged, so like the iPad Pros and the new iPhones, which to me sounds like a lovely idea. I'd love to see an Apple Watch with squarer edges. You can still have the rounded rectangle screen, but get rid of those kind of bulging rounded edges and have nice square ones.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect the straps.
Well, that was part of the rumour that this is going to be the big break in compatibility. Dear. It's got to come sometime, and it's been 5-6 years or something. So it could be time.
I think it's been longer than any of us would have predicted 5 or 6 years ago.
That's true. Mind you, I don't buy any expensive straps anymore. I just get the cheap ones from the Chinese company. But there you go.
It'd be a good opportunity for them to put batteries in the straps as well and stuff like that, and maybe other sensors as well.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. I'm not sure about battery in the strap, though. I still got a horrible feeling of exploding. Mind you, I'm already wearing the battery on my wrist anyway, so...
Yeah.
But the chances of me piercing the strap might be higher, so I don't know. I think that's it. I saw one quick story as well. 1Password has produced a beta, an Apple Silicon beta, for their software, but something just makes me scared of using beta software for my passwords. I don't know why. Call me crazy. But even though he was apparently the developer was very, David Tier was very impressed by how 1Password run through Rosetta 2. They are actually working on a proper version for the M1s. So it'd be even snappier. I don't know how snappy you need your password generator to be, though. I mean, I've never noticed any lag.
I do get some problems with 1Password on my iMac at work. I need to restart it, every couple of days. Seems to, I don't know if it's a memory leak with 1Password or whether it's the Chrome extension or the number of tabs I've got open in Chrome. Could be that.
I think you've solved it there, the Chrome.
Yeah. I do often have some problems with 1Password and it being a bit laggy with unlocking and that mostly. But
okay. Well, I think that's it for our show this week. We've waffled on long enough, I think. We got any feedback this week, chaps, by the way?
Nothing I've seen. Anything you've seen, Alan?
Oh, God, there was something, and I can't think.
Is it Mr. Dom talking about Windows?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that topic from last week fired up quite a bit of interest, actually, about Windows versus Mac OS. So, yeah, I think the worlds apart. In fact, we even talked about that earlier in this show, didn't we? Apple's lockdown kind of way of doing things versus total flexibility on Windows still. That's going to be a never-ending argument, I think.
Yeah.
Always is. Okay, so if you'd like to send us any messages, the best way to do it is through Twitter, and then Steve and Alan will take it in and add it to the show doc, and we'll read it out. No reviews this week. If you'd like to send us a review, please just seek out the podcast app, seek out Mac and Forth, give some stars, write a review. We'd love to read it out on the show, and of course, it helps us in our when we go up the charts. We go up the charts a fair bit at the moment, which is quite nice. I think we reached number 94 last week in the UK tech charts, which is surprising because we only have about 400 downloads, so that's pretty good. And that's global downloads, but we still reached number 95 somehow. I don't know how that works, but it's good stuff. Of course, enough way support.
Maybe it's the reviews that make the difference. Then it'd be a good experiment, wouldn't it? If we get a few reviews in this week, and then see if that makes a material difference to the chart position. Be a good little test we can all do collectively.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Get the reviews in.
Another way, of course, you can support us as well is our Patreon page. There's a link in the show description. Any funds sent our way help greatly with all the financing we do behind the scenes on the show. And I'm also trying to start up the YouTube parts of it again. If you might have seen a few test videos that I posted on YouTube and Facebook, hopefully I've got 1 or 2 bugs to iron out, and I'll be doing that again probably on the weekends moving forward. But any Patreon contributions aid in financing all that stuff, and it's always greatly appreciated. And I'd like to thank, as always, all our wonderful Patreon subscribers. We love you all. We love you all. And that's pretty much it for us this week. We'll be back again next week when we see what develops in the land of Apple. So until then, everybody out there, please stay safe and be nice to each other. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.